So another refactoring process in this lesson, and that is for the table. We need a way to display the job applications that Peter, our candidate, has made. So let's jump in. So here I'm in the demo app. We've got the company logo, company name, and these other fields. This one's pretty cool, pending, because we're going to be using conditionals to dynamically change the word pending to accepted or declined, along with some different colors as well. And then lastly, we have a little element here to take us to the actual job page so that Peter can have another look or remind himself about which job that he's applied for. Let's jump into the editor. Okay, so currently this table is set to a job. But what we need to do is show a new type of data called applications. So we need to go ahead and create that. So head over to data, data type, and then type in application, singular, and then create. And let's create some fields. So the first field we're going to create is for a user. So we'll say that this is a candidate, and that is type user. And this is so we can track which candidate applied for this job. Create. Now we need a company field. Company is a company. This will help us with our privacy rules to make sure that only two people or two entities can view this job application, and that is the creator of the job application, so the current user, Peter in this instance, as well as the company that they're applying to. So only those two people are allowed to see this job application. I'm going to use a cover note field. That is a type text that will be coming in from a multi-line input. Of course, an application needs to be tied to a job as well. That is a job. And we'll be using the job and the candidate, which is a user, those two fields, to be able to match a candidate with a particular job, and to know that they've already applied for a job as well, and that they can't reapply when there's already a pending application. And we'll say something like shortlisted. And this is actually going to be a yes/no field. And this will be, and then create, and then this functionality, the functionality that will be enabled by shortlisted is for a company user such as Hannah to be able to shortlist an application pertaining to a particular job, because the job's going to get many applications, okay? And so this is a way for a company to be able to shortlist, give it a little check mark to be able to create a narrower view of applications that they like. Now we need an application status. So this is something we need to create as an option set. So let's create a new one called application status. And then create. We're going to have pending, successful, or declined. This should be enough to get us going. Okay, so now we can say on table jobs, click in the top left-hand corner to bring up the property editor, and let's change this to an application. Now we're going to search for, I'm just going to delete these, search for applications. Okay. And now we need to match an application with a user. So we're going to say that the candidate equals the current user. So let's just cover again what a server constraint is. And a server constraint allows us to filter or create a filter on the server. So if we didn't have a search constraint, Bubble will bring back all of the applications from Workplace back into the user's browser. There might be 1 million, who knows? But by using a server constraint that says candidate equals current user, Bubble on the server side we'll go quickly scan all the applications and then only bring back the ones with a match. Candidate equals current user. So Pete, the ones that Peter has created himself. Okay. And let's sort by, well, I guess we could do create a date of the actual application. Most recent, yes. Descending, yes. Okay. Now we are not going to ignore empty constraints. We always need this constraint in here. And close. Fantastic. So now we can sort out our columns. So I'm going to right click on column A and choose add column to the left. Okay. And this will be a company's logo. So let's go grab an image. First of all, let's just sort out on the layout tab. I just want to sort out the left-right padding of 24 and 24. Now we can grab an image element and just draw it inside. Okay. Let's first sort out the shape. So I want this to be 40 by 40. 40, and I'm going to check to keep element aspect ratio fixed and then push it to the center. Let's change this naming to image logo. And now we can feed through the data on the appearance tab. So this is basically going to be the current rows application. And now we have to go find the logo, which is in the company data type. So company logo. And we're going to zoom to cut the shape. And then we're going to scroll down and choose 8 in the roundness. Okay, I'm going to use a canvas placeholder here. So go ahead and upload any logo you like. Maybe just use Orbit actually, because it'll be consistent with mine. Orbit.svg. Okay, so this column, this will always be the same shape, which means that on this column A, if we go to the layout tab, let's just say that it's fit width to content in terms of the horizontal space. It'll always be consistent. Okay, this next one here needs to be company, so the company name. And then in the cell, we can change this to current rows applications, and then go find company, and then name. Okay, let's use a placeholder of Orbit in here. And I realized actually for a test company, I should have chosen a longer name. It's better to always look for edge cases when you're designing. So, you know, if I used a much longer name, then we'd be able to catch those edge cases a bit more easily. Anyway, my mistake. Let's push on. Next one will be job title. So I'm going to change term. Actually, term. Let's just do this manually. Job title. And then this will be the current rows applications and then jobs data type. And then we drill down into jobs and we look for the title. And let's say no code developer for this one. Then we have term in here, term. And now we're going to look for the jobs, because in the job, and look for term within job. Terms display because it's an option set. For the canvas placeholder, I'm going to say full-time. So starting salary is something we want. So let's say current rows, applications, jobs, and then salary. And then we need to use min to grab the min and then format as currency, no decimal place because it's a large number, and then USD with 1,000 separator. Looking good. Next one will be called status. And this is now the status. If I just delete the 12, this is the status of this application. And we've just created this. So it's the current rows applications. So we created the option set, but not the field. That's fine. Let's head over back to the data and then go look for application. And now we're going to click to add a field, and we're going to type in status. We're going to then attach it to the application status option set, create. Back to the design, back to the table. Now we can just reference this new status display. An example of that, let's use one of the longer ones. So, no, actually, let's use pending, because that's where I want to start my design work, pending. We're going to come back, and I can see I need more space in here. We'll come back and finish up the design soon. This one will be applied. And that's going to be the creation date. So Bubbles actually done it for us. And then this icon I'd like to change to an arrow. And the arrow I'm looking for is this one here. It's like 45-degree angle, so more vert outline. And while we're on this arrow, let's start edit the workflow. And what we're going to say is navigate to, go to page. And this will go to the job page. The job page has page data. It needs to know what job should we display on the job page. Well, the current rows applications job. And let's actually open this in a new tab as well. So you might be asking yourself, well, why didn't we use a link element, Greg? You've told me over and over, link elements, that's how Google knows, how your page is all tied together. That's because this is behind a login, okay? So Google doesn't know that this page even exists. So I'm just using a clickable icon. Okay, let's sort out the spacing here. So column B, let's have a look at the layout. Let's go to column C. And this is naturally going to go to two rows most probably. Let's look at column D. I'm going to use a fixed width of 150, which is currently set, okay. Column E. I think that's enough. Yeah, we can fit 2 more zeros in there. Not that we'll ever get there. Okay, we need more space here. I'm going to try, what I'm actually going to do here is try 124. And then I'm just going to type in the longest word here, which is, did I say successful? I should really say accepted. Let's go and change that. On the data tab, option sets, head down to application status and call this accepted. I'm doing this because I actually want these words to be a similar length. It just looks a bit nicer on the design for that. Okay, so that will actually fit in. That's fine. And then applied, there's too much space here. So let's close this down slightly. So instead of 160, let's use 140. And that actually increases this. It doesn't have a fixed width. Yeah, I think I'm happy with that, guys. Okay, and then obviously we have, if I close down group table, we have the group no data. So please open that up for me, please. Let's say no applications found. Maybe we shouldn't say for this search query, because at the very beginning that this will show when no applications have been made. So no applications found, which it works both ways, whether it's a search or just standard non-search display. And that's pointing to the table jobs list of applications count is less than 1, which means it's 0. And by the way, make sure to sign up to the Bubble forum. So forum.bubble.io. I'm smiling because this just reminds me. So this particular method of trying to determine if data is returned, I've done count is less than 1. There's been a massive debate. Some really, really good native developers who are also Bubble developers have done some research and testing here, because there are multiple ways to determine this. We could do count is less than 1, which equals 0. We could do count is 0, which is 0. We could do first item is not empty or first item is empty. There are many different ways of doing this, and developers have spent a lot of time trying to figure out which is the fastest in terms of workload units and power, which is the least. all sorts there. So go ahead and sign up to the Bubble Forum because it's absolute treasure trove of information. And if you have a problem, chances are that one of the other few million developers would have had that problem before as well. So that's a place to look and that's a place to ask. And then this text up here, let's make this dynamic. So it looks like it is table list, table jobs, list of applications, count results. All right, we're in good shape. Let's also sort out the search. That'll be fun. Let's edit the workflow on the search. And this currently says when get query from page URL is empty, then we need to go to the candidate page. Let's clear this expression. We don't need it. We don't have page data. But the query is the input job filters value. Okay, I'm going to change that to candidate on the element itself. And then we'll also have a way of clearing it. So we're going to reset. Yep, so all the stuff looks good. On step 2, on the orange event, let's just remove the expression. We don't need data. And then this would go back to, instead of job posts, it would be applications. Okay, I just want to change the wording for search for jobs, change this to application filter. Search for an application. And that should work just fine. Okay, so on the table, let's just add this to the constraint. So I'm going to search for applications. And we need, so to enable the search to happen, Bubble needs a field attached to an application that is a text field. And currently the job title or the company, both of those are set to data type. So we can't actually get inside these to search. So what we're going to do is this. On the data type for an application, we're going to say job title. That is going to be text. And then company name. That's going to be text as well. And this just will enable us to search by these two fields. So what we can now say is search for applications. Because the database has those two text fields, we can say any field contains get data from page URL. The parameter name is called query. And that's text. And the last thing we need to do is check the box to ignore empty constraints. Because this will be empty by default, which means nothing will show in the table. But we need something showing in the table when there is data to show. Okay, so that solves that problem. So when it comes to creating the application data type, we need to save those extra fields. Okay guys, so that's the table sorted. And in the next lesson, we're going to jump into the job page and actually build the pop-up so that Peter can apply for a job. I'll see you in the next lesson.